So, very good afternoon to all of you. We are going to start your session now. Uh, as we discussed the unit number two in the our last session, we continue that chapter here, and along with that, I want to say something that yesterday I posted one file in your WhatsApp group. I hope you have seen. That is the midsem syllabus, right? So that you can also identify from the Google Classroom itself. So now we are going to start with the one unit number two, that is basic of electrical engineering subject. So can you tell me that what we had discussed in the our last session? Did you remember that the topic what we discussed in the our last session? Can you tell me? Yes or no? Did you remember or not? Yes, Faraday's law, exactly. See, we indeed discussed in the our last session about the electromagnetic induction principle as well as the Faraday's law. Okay. Uh, just a second. Yeah. So this is what we discussed in the last session. This is the diagram we discussed in the our last session. I hope you remember it, right? So this thing we discussed that the phenomenon by which the EMF, uh, the EMF is induced in the circuit when the magnetic field linking with the coil changes. Okay, and this is the sentence we use for the galvanometer. Sorry, the deflection. What we identify in the galvanometer based on the EMF induced in the conductor when it is put in the magnetic field. Okay, and the third topic is the direction of the induced EMF we identify, and that is the direction of the induced EMF in the coil. It is depends upon the direction of the magnetic field and the direction of the motion of the coil. Okay, so this is the diagram we have seen. Okay, is there any question here? So we discuss about the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction principle. So in that one we discussed that first law and second law. So in the first law we discussed that when the any you can say that whenever the magnetic field or magnetic flux linking with the coil changes, the EMF induced in the coil. And the second sentence that we discussed, that is whenever conductor cut the magnetic flux, then an EMF is induced in the conductor. So this is the diagram, or sorry, this is the animation you have seen in the last session. I hope You have remembered this thing. And then after we discuss about the second law, and second law state what? The magnitude of induced EMF in the coil or circuit, it is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux linkages, or the product of the number of turns, that is capital N, and rate of change of flux linking in the coil. So we use this explanation or notation here, that is capital N, flux phi 1 phi 2 time d, and initial and the final flux linkages. So this thing also we discussed in the last session, and I told you also the justification that what why the negative sign is represented. It is the direction of the induced EMF, it is opposite to the magnetic line of force, so that it is indicated over here also. The significant, yes, this is the significant parameters which is given here, that how we identify the direction of the induced EMF about the Lenz law and Fleming-Rayton rule. So I hope this is understood to you, because this thing we discussed very detailed in the last session, that the Lenz law, it is indicating what the direction of an induced EMF is always such that it is tends to produce the current, or it is set up the current which is opposing to the motion of the conductor, or you can say that the change of the flux responsible for the inducing that EMF. So there is an alternative method we had, that is a Fleming-Rayton rule. So this diagram, it is indicating the Fleming-Rayton rule. When you put the conductor in the magnetic field and that conductor it is moving, so you can identify the direction of the magnetic field, direction of the motion of the conductor, and from that you will identify the direction of the current. So that is indicating over here by the Fleming-Rayton rule. So now these are the topics. You can say that the induced EMF equation we identify in the two way, either in the dynamical induced EMF or the statical induced EMF. The dynamical induced EMF means what? When your conductor or the coil is, you can say that rotating or it is changes, and your field is stationary, then it is we call the dynamically induced EMF. The second parameter, the conductor or the coil is stationary and the magnetic field it is changed, then we call it is a stationary induced EMF. So first of all, the dynamically induced EMF we derive with these three diagram. So in the first diagram, you can say that the direction or the motion of the conductor will be perpendicular to the magnetic line of field. The second diagram having some angle with reference of the magnetic field line, and the third diagram, it is showing that the the conductor will move, or the direction will be parallel to the magnetic field direction, and the conductor length we have assumed that is of small l component, that will be in the magnetic field. So according to that, we identify the, the how much the distance it is traveled and what amount of the time, and from that we identify the induced EMF in the conductor. So this explanation we had in discussed in the our last session also. I hope this is what we discussed, and this is understandable to you, that or does you can say that our conductor that will move by a distance of dx in the time of, you can say that dt, then the area whatever it is swept by the conductor, that we identify it is equal to ldx component. The L is equal to what? Length of the conductor which is lying in the within the magnetic field. So the magnetic flux which is cut by the conductor, we identify of phi is equal to B into L dx. Right? So flux phi is equal to B into L dx, where L dx is the area. B is equal to what? Can you tell me? What do you mean by B here? What do you mean by B? Capital B. See, capital B is equal to flux density. right? The capital B is equal to flux density. Now, after getting the flux phi, we will identify the flux linkages. So since the conductor we have only one right now, we use n is equal to 1, and the flux linking with the, you can say that flux linkage is psi value, it is equal to what, n into phi. So n is equal to 1 and phi is equal to what, bl dx, right? And if we identify with respect to time, that means how much the time, the total time you have, it is equal to t. Now this is, we identify for the rate of change of flux linkages with respect to time. So it is d psi by dt component we identify here, and n is equal to the number of the turns, so that is the constant part we have. So only we, the bl, that is we are going to taking here, right? And dx by dt, that is we denoted by the velocity of the conductor, so it is meter per second. And after that we apply the first, Faraday's law of second law, that is E is equal to d psi by dt. So that psi, d psi by dt, we have value identified, that is equal to blv. So that we are going to put here, and that is E is equal to blv according to the diagram. Now if we consider the angle part, and this angle part we also seen in the last session, that uh, in the diagram, sorry, in the diagram we have seen that the direction which is, you can say that, having some angle with respect to the magnetic field direction. So that angle, we can say that, consider over here with the right angle part, that is why it is written that dx sine theta component. And the angle which is we consider over here of the conductor which is move at the angle of theta in the, or you can say that the theta with respect to the direction of the magnetic field. So whatever the conductor it is moving, having a distance of dx component with the time of dt, and that will be, you can say that, the component of the distance traveled at the right angle of the field, that is dx sine theta component. And whatever the area which is considered over here, that is of L dx sine theta. So just whatever we discussed in the our previous part, the calculation, only one component we have over here, that, or you can say that the multiply, that is a sine theta component, and that is the angle component we identify here. So that's why it is L dx sine theta. And then after the flux, it is cut by the conductor. So flux is equal to phi, and that is equal to b into a. A is equal to what over here, L dx sine theta. And then after we identify the flux linkages, psi component, and from that we identify the d psi by dt, that is the induced EMF component, and that is equal to capital, sorry, small e. E is equal to blv sine theta. So that is, you can say that, the dynamically induced EMF from the our discussion. Okay, so is there any question here? Are you having any questions here in this dynamically induced EMF? Okay, so now we discussed about the statically induced EMF. And statically induced EMF means what? The EMF or EMF induced by the variation of the flux in terms of, you can say that, the statically induced EMF. That is, we can say that when your flux, you can say that it is changed, but your conductor will be stationary. That is what we call the statically induced EMF. Now, the statistically induced EMF or statically induced EMF having two component. One is the self-induced EMF, and second one is the mutual inductance, or sorry, a mutual induced EMF. So now we will discuss one by one both the component. The first component is self-induced EMF. So this is the diagram. What do you understand from this diagram? How many coils you have in this diagram? Can you tell me? How many coil you have in this diagram? Can you tell me? How how many number of the coils you have in this diagram. One coil. See, this is one coil. Only one coil you have in this diagram. It is showing in this diagram, that is one coil, and that is, you can say that a number of the turns you have around the core, that is form a coil. So it is look like this. You can see it is look like this. This is what we call one coil, having a number of turns, right? So you can see in this diagram, in this one coil, we are giving a supply from the battery source. We have a switch in the connection. Also we have the resistance, which is variable one, which is connected in series with the source. When the coil, when we supply the current into this coil, it will produce the flux, right? And that flux, which is linked with the conductor or number of the turns with the same coil, so that is what we call the self-induced EMF. So right now in this sentence form, it is also mentioned here that if the current through the coil is changed, that means either by the battery or by the resistance, the flux linking with the coil, it also change, because all this flux is depends upon how much the current value you have supplied from the source. Now when you say that when the current is changed, the flux will also change, and that will induce EMF in the coil. So according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction principle, and the EMF whatever it is induced in the coil due to the change in the, you can say that the flux produced it, or the flux produced by it, and the linking with its own turns, number of turns. So that's why it is we call the self-induced EMF. Are you getting? What do you mean by self-induced EMF? See, this is a very simple, that when you say that when you give the supply, the circuit is connected, that means when you supply the current here, the and you can say that whatever the flux, what it is linking with this coil, also you have change. Whatever the change in the flux will be there, that will induce the EMF according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction principle. And whatever the flux is there, so what, see, whatever the induced EMF in the coil, which is due to the change of the flux produced by it, it will link with the in own, you can say that it own turns, number of the turns, and that's why it is we call the self-induced EMF. Are you getting up to here? Okay, so I think we go now further. Since we can say that the rate of change of flux, the rate of change of flux linking with the coil, it will be depends upon the rate of change of current in the coil. So the rate of change of flux linking with the coil depends upon the rate of change of current in the coil. Okay, so the whatever the magnitude of the self-induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of current, and E is proportional to di by dt. E is proportional to di by dt. So E is equal to L di by dt. So this is what we call, say that L, that is the coefficient of the self inductance or the self inductance of the coil. Now I think this is understandable up to you, up to here, sorry. Whatever the current or at which rate the current is going to be supplied in the coil, according to that the rate of change of flux linking with the coil, and whatever the magnitude, it is, you can say that, directly proportional to the rate of change of current. So from that we can say that we identify the self inductance or the coefficient of the self inductance of the coil. Are you getting? Are you getting up to here, dear participants? No. Once you remove the source or the battery from this terminal, the current will be not supplied, the flux will be not there, no induced EMF, right? Yobu, whatever the question you have asked, the answer is, if you are removing the source from the circuit, there will be no current. If no current will be there, no flux. If there will be no flux, there will be no induced EMF. So you cannot say that the self-induced EMF will be there. And whatever the given here, it is indicating what? That when you supply the voltage from the battery source, it will be identified that di by dt, that means the rate of change of current, whatever you supply with respect to time, it will change the rate of change of flux linking with the time, and that will change the induced EMF inside the coil, right? So that is the thing given here. This is the thing given here. So rate of change of flux linking with the coil, it will be depending upon that how much the rate of change of current will be there in the coil. So that's why it is directly written that E is proportional to di by dt. And if we release the proportional parameters from this equation, then it is written like E is equal to L di by dt. So L is equal to the coefficient of the self inductance of the coil, or simply you can say that it is the self inductance of the coil. Okay. So now if we go further into this, the second one is the mutual induced EMF. Now, what do you mean by induced EMF? Or sorry, mutual induced EMF. For that you require two coils. For that you require two coils. Coil number one. This is a coil number one having N1 number of the turns. Over here you can see in this diagram. You will have N1 number of the turns, and coil 2 having N2 number of the turns here. So when coil 1 is going to be supplied from the battery source, just like the previous case, through the switch we have. So the current flowing in this circuit, number 1 circuit here, when the current is flowing, the flux is produced here, phi1, in this coil 1. So out of this flux, whatever it is traveling in from the core, most of the flux you can say that it is linked with this N2 number of the turns, right? And that means coil 2. And if the current is flowing through this coil is changed, coil 1, then you can say that it will be affected to the coil 2 also. Yes. This is the representation of this diagram. This is the representation of the diagram. So there are two coils given here, understood? Coil 1 and coil 2. Coil 1 having N1 number of the turns, coil 2 having N2 number of the turns. When the coil 1 is supplied from the battery source to the switch, the current flowing through the coil 1, that will produce the flux phi1, and that flux phi1 will be passing, or you can say that that will produce in the core, and because of the coil 1, and whatever the flux it is producing, most of the flux which is linked with the another coil, that means having a number of n2 turns. So if the current of the coil 1 it is changed, then the flux in the other coil is also going to be changed, because the main flux is changed, and because of that the another coil flux is also going to be changed. So that is the indication of this diagram and the sentence given here. So now we will identify the mutual induced EMF equation. So read the sentence first very carefully, that the change of the current in the coil 1, that means the change in the flux produced in the coil 1. If the flux linking or the change in the flux linking with the coil 2, that means what, the EMF whatever it is produced in the coil 2, means if you have the current in the coil 1, then you can say that the flux is produced in the coil 1, and that will be linked with the coil 2, and the EMF is going to be produced in the coil 2. Okay, so this is the representation of the diagram. So this kind of the EMF we call the mutual induced EMF. The magnitude of this mutual induced EMF, it is directly proportional to the rate of change of current in the coil A. Coil A means what? Coil 1. So that's why it is written here that the induced EMF in the second coil, it is proportional to the rate of change of current in the coil 1, because ultimately you have the source connected with that coil, a coil 1 only. So whatever the flux produced of phi 1, it is based on the current I1, right? So that E2 is equal to M, that is, you can say that the mutual inductance, and multiply with the di1 by dt. So I hope this is very clear to you, because as per the discussion of self-induced EMF, now you are getting the thing very clearly in this one. So are you clear with this? Say yes or no. Are you clear with this or not? Okay. Now we identify the self-inductance. We identify the self-inductance definition as we discussed in the self-induced EMF equation also. So we are going to identify in very much detail about the self-inductance and the mutual inductance. So first thing is given here, you can see the diagram, it is just like the previous case. There is a one core of circular manner, having a cross-sectional area of capital A. Over that core, we have the coil. Over the core, sorry, we have a coil, and that coil will be supplied by the source of voltage capital V. So the current is passing through that coil or number of the turns, and there will be a flux producing. That flux will be linked with the own number of the turns, and that is we call self-induced EMF, right? And because of that, we identify the self-inductance. So first of all, understand the property. The property of the coil that will oppose any change in the amount of current flowing through it, and that is we call self-inductance or the inductance. This is specially, you can say that, identify for the coil, right? Not for the conductor. It is for the coil. So when you say that you have a coil, there will be inductance. So that is the property, you can say that, of the coil that will oppose any change in the amount of the current flowing through it. So that is we call self-inductance or the inductance. So second sentence given here, that if the current in the coil increases, if the current in the coil will increases, the self-induced EMF is set up in such direction so as to oppose the rise of the current. Okay, so that is the another topic, another sentence given here. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Now the third sentence, that the direction of the self-induced EMF, it is opposite to that of the applied voltage. So that is because of the property, as I mentioned, that the self-induced EMF, it is set up in a such a direction so as to oppose the rise of current, and that's why we can say that the direction of the self-induced EMF, it is opposite to the applied voltage. Now consider, yeah, uh, this is not yeah, you can set up one coil, right? And when you apply the voltage, there will be induced EMF in that conductor or in the coil. So when you identify the direction, it will deflect it opposite direction to that induced EMF and the applied voltage. That is the sentence written in the previous one, Luis. So now, as per your previous diagram, we want to consider here the number of the coils of n turns, which is carrying a current of I ampere. If the current in the coil changes, the flux linkage will also change, and there will be, this will be set up a self-induced EMF in the coil. So this is what we are having from our previous diagram, that whatever the coil we have of n number of the turns, and that will carry I current inside it. So if the current in the coil will be changed, the flux linkages also will change, and this will set up a self-induced EMF in the coil. So according to the Faraday's law, we will write E is equal to minus n d phi by dt, right? So this is our equation. We also derive in the Faraday's law, if you remember. Now we just separate out here that d phi by dt component by di by dt multiplied by di by dt. D phi by dt, it is separate out here. It is just rearranged here by d phi by di multiplied by di by dt. So for the coil having a non-magnetic core, the flux will be directly proportional to the current value. So that is, you can say that the linear graph you will achieve. And this magnetizing characteristics we will see also in your next theoretical component. You can say that you will have a graphical representation like this. So when you change the current value, it is indicating what, if you have a non-magnetic material, in that case your flux will be proportional to the value of current. So it will be look like this, a linear graph you will achieve. So it is current here and flux phi here. It is just like that. So actually it is magnetizing current of curve of B and H, and based on that it is written that if you have a non-magnetic material, in that case the flux will be directly proportional to the value of current. So that is, you can say that you will get the linear graph here, d phi by di component, so it is phi by I, and n phi by I, that is what we call the inductance. That is, you can say that the mmf per current value, that is we call the inductance value. L, that is we are going to consider here, that is n phi by I component. So this is the self-induced EMF equation. E is equal to minus L di by dt. What is the sign of minus sign here? Sorry, why the minus sign is given here? Can you tell me? Why we written the minus sign here from the beginning? What actually it is indicating? Yes, it is the opposite direction. Exactly. The induced EMF, it is opposite direction to the rate of change of current. Yes. So that is indicating the minus sign here. Exactly. Now, we are continuing this theory here about the self inductance. So if a flux which is very linearly with the current equation, as we discussed that in the previous slide, L is equal to what? N phi by I. So by the definition, you can say that it is a self inductance in terms of Henry. The unit of self inductance is Henry. So a coil is said to have a coil is said to have inductance of 1 Henry if the current of 1 ampere when flowing through it, producing the flux linkages of 1 Weber turns in it. So that is actually indicating inductance. So this is about a self inductance up to here. Is there any question up to here? Okay, so we can go ahead if you don't have any question. Okay, so we can go further now. So just remember this equation because it is very important description given here. As we said that in the previous part that L is equal to N phi by I, right? And phi is equal to what? Ni by S. S is equal to the flux. The another equation of, we can say that the flux is equal to Ni by S, mmf per reluctance. So that phi value we are going to put here. So whatever the resultant inductance we are getting here, that is self inductance we are getting here, it is equal to n into I divided by S. So it is n square by I, sorry, n square by S, and S is equal to what? L divided by mu 0 mu r into A. So this is what we call the equation of self inductance, n square mu 0 mu r A divided by L. This is the equation just I'm going to show you over here because it is necessary when you are having some examples based on this. At that time you will apply. That's why we are discussing here. So this equations you just remember. You can take a snapshot also right now because this equations we can also use in our examples. Later on I will show you how you can calculate it. So now after these equations and it's a derivation, we can go with, yeah, any of L equation you can use n phi by I, or you can say that L is equal to n square by S, or you can say that you can directly go with the L is equal to n square mu 0 mu r into A divided by L. Now we are going to discuss here about the mutual inductance. Just a second. About the mutual inductance. Now the mutual inductance is defined as the ability of one coil to produce the EMF in nearby coil by induction principle when the current in the first coil changes. So according to this diagram, we already discussed about the mutual induced EMF, right? So in that one, you say that whenever the current is changing in the first coil, the induced EMF will be changed in the second coil also, and because the flux is changed. So the mutual inductance is defined here as the ability of one of the coil to produce the EMF in the nearby coil by induction when the current is changing or current in the first coil changes. So let you can say that there are two magnetic coil, coupled coil having number of the turns of N1 and N2 respectively. Coefficient of the mutual inductance is defined as the Weber turns or one coil due to the current in the another one or in the other. So right now the current I1 flow into the first coil that will produce the flux phi 1 in the first coil. So Weber turn, that means what? The flux into the number of the turns of the coil. So that will, you can say that because of the current flowing in that one. So now this thing we already discussed, right? Change in the current in the coil 1. That means the change in the flux produced in the coil 1. So change in the flux linking with the coil 2 and EMF is induced in the coil 2. So according to that, we identify E2 is equal to minus M di by dt because induced EMF having the opposite sign of it with respect to the current component. So the magnitude of the mutually induced EMF, it is directly proportional to the rate of change of current in the coil 1. So this equation we already revived in the previous part, right? So we are not going to very much detail about now because the same sentence, same formation we have used in our previous part about the mutual coil or sorry mutual inductance of the coil. So the same significant parameters we earlier used. So we are not going to very much detail right now, or we are not going to discuss in the very much detail right now. But now you can say that whatever the induced EMF in the coil 2, it is due to the change of the flux produced by the coil 1. So mutually induced EMF in the second coil, it is given here, that is equal to, or you can say that E2 is equal to N2 number of the turns of the coil 2 and the flux which is changed with respect to time of coil 1. So the earlier one, that is, you can say that this thing we are going to discuss but in the very much detail here in the second part, that E2, that is the induced EMF, mutually induced EMF in the second coil, it is equal to N2, number of the turns of the coil 2, multiply by d phi1 by dt. So that is, you can say that the coil 1 having whatever the flux it is produced with respect to time. So that is given here. Now, if we rearrange this equation, it is just like the previous case what we discussed, that E2 is equal to N2 d phi1 by dt di1 by di1. So it is just rearrangement of the equation. And as I discussed with you earlier, that for the non-magnetic material, the flux phi, it is directly proportional to the value of current. So according to that, the relation of d phi by di is equal to phi by I, and that we are going to consider over here for the mutual inductance, that is equal to N2 phi1, number of the turns of the coil 2, phi1, that is the flux produced by the coil 1 divided by the current passing through the coil 1. So that is the equation of mutual inductance. Are you getting? This is just the notation given here according to your previous notation. That's it. Are you getting up to here? Say yes or no. Are you understood up to here? Okay. So now if we go ahead, just like your self-inductance, we can use the equation here that M is equal to N2 phi1 by phi1, where N2 is equal to what? Number of the turns of the second coil. Phi1 is equal to the flux producing by the coil 1 and the current passing through the coil 1 I1. Now phi1 is equal to, as per your previous discussion, that in the self-inductance also we have seen flux is equal to, or the another equation of the flux is equal to mmf divided by reluctance. So N1 I1 by S, reluctance will be the common component because we have only one core, right? And over there you have a two coil circuit. So the reluctance will put over here as a S component. So now if we put this phi1 component into the previous equation or the first equation over here, then it is equal to what? N2 N1 I1 divided by I1 into S. So I1 is cancelled out. So what is the equation now for the mutual inductance? N2 N1 divided by S, and S is equal to, the reluctance is equal to length of the conductor divided by the permeability into the cross-sectional area. So L divided by mu 0 mu r into A, and M is equal to, when you put this S value over here, then you can say that it is equal to N1 N2 mu 0 mu r A divided by L. That is, you can say that the mutual inductance equation. Are you getting up to here? This is, you can say that according to the our calculation we have obtained. If you are getting not anything over here, you can tell me. Are you understand? Is there any question? Shall we go ahead now? If you understand this thing. And remember, these equations we are going to use in the examples. So just remember this thing. You can take a snapshot also here, because all this thing we require when we are doing the example calculation. Okay, so we can go ahead now. The next topic here, after the self and mutual inductance or self-induced EMF and the mutual induced EMF, it is the coefficient of the coupling, right? So the diagram, whatever we used for the mutual case or the mutual induced EMF, that will be remain same. But the sentence it is given here, what it is exactly telling us, the fraction of the magnetic flux produced by the current in one coil that will link with the other coil, and that is we call the coefficient of the coupling between the coil or between these two coil. So it is denoted by the K. So you can remember this definition, that whatever the fraction of the magnetic flux it is produced by the current in one coil and that will link with the other coil, then it is we call the coefficient of the coupling between these two coil, and that is denoted by the K. So now if we go ahead with this, you can see in the coil 1, when the current I1 is flowing through the coil 1, self inductance will be there. It is equal to what? L1. See, in the coil 1 we are giving the supply, so the whatever the self inductance of that coil will be there, that is we denoted here, that is of L1 component, and L1 is equal to what? N5 by I. So it is N1 I1 divided by I1, or the another equation we have, that is equal to N1 square divided by S, right? Because after putting phi 1 is equal to mmf divided by reluctance. So that is L1 is equal to N1 square by S. That is our first equation. From the total flux phi 1, the fraction of the flux link with the coil 2 phi 1 2, that is equal to K into phi, that is K1 into phi 1. So whatever the amount of the fraction of the flux which is linked with the coil 2, that is we call phi 1 2. See, the total flux phi 1 having some fractions of the flux which is linked with the phi 2. What about the other flux? What is we call? Because I said in the last session also that whatever the total flux it is produced over here by the coil 1, not all the flux which is linked with the other coil, then what is we call that flux which is not linked with the other coil? What is the name of that flux? Can you tell me? In the last session we discussed this thing. Yes, Irmia, your answer is correct. That is we call the leakage flux, right? That is we call the leakage flux. So right now it is given here the sentence that the total flux phi 1 we have, and the fraction of the flux it is going to be linked with the coil 2. So it is we call phi 1 2, and that is equal to K1 into phi 1. So now the mutual inductance equation what we derived from our previous discussion, that M is equal to N2, that is the number of the turns of the secondary coil or second coil, phi 1 2, that is the amount of the flux linked with the second coil which is produced by the flux phi 1 divided by I1. So now phi 1 2, it is equal to, you can say that it is K1 into phi 1. So that we are going to put here. So the total equation is what? K1 N2 phi 1 divided by I1. And when I put phi 1 is equal to mmf n1 I1 divided by is, so that we are going to put here. So I1 is cancelled out. So the remaining equation is equal to Q1 N1 N2 by S. That is equation number 2. Are you getting? Are you getting up to here? I just put the value of phi 1 here because phi 1 is equal to what? N1 I1 by S, right? Of coil 1. So that we are going to put here. And that after that the current I1 is getting cancelled out from the numerator and denominator. So that's why the our mutual inductance we identify here, that is equal to K1 N1 N2 by S. In the previous discussion, it is only what M is equal to N1 N2 by S. The fraction that we are not considering, because now we are considering the coefficient of the coupling. So in that one, the fractions of the total flux linked with the other coil, we are going to consider here as a K1. Are you getting up to here all? Is there any question you have? Please write it down in the chat box section. Okay, so it is now time to put your enrollment number into the chat box section. Quickly write down your enrollment number in the chat box section. So after writing your enrollment number, if you have any query, you can write, or else you can leave the session. If you have any query, then you can write. Otherwise, you can leave the session because it is already 2:50. Yeah, I think it is time to end the meeting here. Still, there are 9 students in the participation list. So all of you just write it down your enrollment number, and then after you can leave. Shall I end the meeting here if you don't have any question? And just write it down your enrollment number if you have not written. Okay, so I think it is now time to end the meeting here for all.